A very good morning to all honorable members of Youth Parliament. I welcome you all to the winter session of Youth Parliament 2023 to 2024. Let's hope this session would be a fruitful one. Members to take the oath or affirmation. Secretary General, please.
Srimati Bhavanisha, who stands elected from the Kedah constituency of Gujarat, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, would you like to take the oath or affirmation? In which language would you like to take the oath? I,
Bhavanisha, having been elected a member of Lower House of Youth Parliament, do swear in the name of God that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India by the law established, that I will uphold sovereignty and integrity of India, and that I will faithfully discharge the duty upon which I am about to enter.
Srimati Sanjana Bhupesh, who stands elected from the Dharapuram constituency of Tamil Nadu, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, would you like to take the oath or affirmation? In which language would you like to take the oath?
சஞ்சனா பூபேஷ் ஆகிய நான் இளைஞர் பாராளுமன்றத்தின் கீழ் சபை உறுப்பினராக தேர்ந்தெடுக்கப்பட்ட பிறகு சட்டப்படி இந்திய அரசியலமைப்பின் மீது உண்மையான நம்பிக்கையையும் விசுவாசத்தையும் கொண்டிருப்பேன். நாட்டின் இறையாண்மையையும் ஒருமைப்பாட்டையும் நிலைநிறுத்துவேன். எல்லாம் வல்ல இறைவனின் அருளால் நாட்டின் நான் ஆற்றவிருக்கும் கடமைகளை கண்ணியம் தவறாது நேர்மையான முறையில் நிறைவேற்றுவேன் என்று உறுதியளிக்கிறேன்.
Srimati Tamilmadi, who stands elected from the Meerut constituency of Uttar Pradesh, will now take the oath or affirmation. Madam, would you like to take the oath or affirmation? In which language would you like to take the oath?
मैं तमिलमदी वी युवा संसद के निचले सदन का सदस्य चुने जाने पर ईश्वर की शपथ लेता हूँ कि मैं कानून द्वारा स्थापित भारत के संविधान के प्रति सच्ची आस्था और निष्ठा करूँगा। मैं इसकी संप्रभुता और अखंडता को बनाए रखूँगा। भारत और जिस कर्तव्य पर मैं प्रवेश करना जा रहा हूँ उसका निष्ठापूर्वक निर्वहन करूँगा।
Prime Minister to introduce the new ministers.
Madam Speaker, I have pleasure in introducing you and through you to the Parliament, my colleague, the new ministers. Srimat Surya Prakash, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. Srimat Bharat Kumar, Minister of Railways.
Now, the question hour starts. Question number 101, Srimati Adlin.
Madam Speaker,
will the Minister of Tourism be pleased to state the proposal of the government to deal with an expected increase of 12% in the inbound tourism of the country in the year 2023? If so, the reasons thereof, and if not, the details therefore. Whether the government has taken any steps to streamline the processes like visa approval in the tourism sector to ensure the best utilization of India's tourism potential. If so, the reasons thereof, and if not, the details therefore.
Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Honorable Speaker and members, the Ministry of Tourism promotes India as a holistic destination in the tourism, generating markets to promote various Indian tourism products and tourism destinations of the country to increase India's share of the global tourism market. Further, augmenting tourism infrastructure, promotion of sustainable tourism, projection of a country as a 365 days tourist destination, etc. have worked to increase tourism in India. Further, in order to boost visitors' arrival, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India has declared Incredible India Visit India Year 2023. For your kind information, let me tell you, in year 2022, India recorded foreign tourist arrivals of 6.19 million with a growth of 305.4%. Over the same period, India earned the facilitative visa regime is a prerequisite for increasing inbound tourism in India. The Ministry of Tourism takes initiative with Ministry of Home Affairs and Ministry of External Affairs for achieving the same. At present, e-tourist visa is being extended to the nationals of 167 countries under 5 subcategories, that is e-tourist visa, e-medical visa, e-medical attendant visa, e-business visa, and finally e-conference visa. The latest country added is Morocco. The e-visa fee is valid for entry through 29 designated airports and 5 designated seaports. The e-visa fee has been rationalized and fairly reduced, wherein the e-visa fee reduced to $80 for 5 years, $40 for 1 year, and 1 month e-tourist visa fee reduced to $10 for lean season, $25 for peak season.
Honorable members, any questions to add upon, please? Let's move on to the next question. Question number 102, Srimati Ritika.
Madam Speaker, will the Ministry of External Affairs be pleased to state the details of past achievements in the country on the ongoing multilateral events including G20 and the details of India's growing influence in the world?
Honorable Minister of External Affairs.
Madam Speaker and members of Parliament, India is India is actively engaged in various multilateral forums like the United Nations, G20, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the BRICS, the International Solar Alliance, etc. And what for these forums are attended? It's for the development of our nation. India's precise efforts are towards making a strong contribution towards the international peace, stability, growth, and also the security. India also focuses on the global attention for the most pressing challenges faced by the humanity through Mission Life aimed at democratizing climate actions and also empowering people to adopt to climate-friendly lifestyles. And popularization of millets to address the challenges faced by the food security. India also advocates an inclusive human-centric growth to development of technology for the betterment of people. We have redoubled our efforts towards reformed multilateralism for more accountable, inclusive, and also representative international system. Today, India is recognized as the force of global good in the world, and that is the contribution towards the regional and global stability, peace, and also the prosperity.
Honorable members, any supplementary questions, please?
Speaker, do you notice that the opposition party, MP Shamika, is violating the protocol of the parliament?
Srimati Shamika, kindly follow the parliament protocols. Next question. Question number 104, Shri Arish.
Madam Speaker, tomatoes are now more expensive than petrol. Rupees 200 for a kilogram of tomato. Picture this. You eating a dish that doesn't have tomato in it. Sounds uncertain, right? Yes. That's what McDonald's have done. They have removed tomatoes from their dishes due to high prices. You see, in the second quarter of 2022, there was a rise in the price of petroleum. Similarly, in the third quarter of FY 2023, there was a rise in the price
Madam
of...
Speaker, Honorable Member Shri Harish is making it like a discussion, and this is a question hour.
Shri Arish, please frame your sentence in a question form.
Madam Speaker, I would like to address a pressing issue that affects every household of our nation. The skyrocketing tomato prices. It's clear that the ruling party's policies have failed in controlling the crucial aspects of our life. Families are struggling to afford this basic necessity. We demand accountability from the Ministry of Commerce. Will the Ministry of Commerce be pleased to answer my question?
Honorable Minister of Commerce.
Honorable Speaker and members, thank you for your concern. But let's not forget the broader context here. Tomato prices are influenced by various factors, including weather condition, supply chain disruption, and market forces. Our government is committed to address this issue, but it's essential to recognize that we can't control every variable. We are taking several steps to stabilize the price, but this challenge is not unique to our administration.
Shri Arish.
While I understand the external factors, the fact remains that tomato prices have surged under your leadership. People are struggling to afford this basic necessity, and it's our responsibility to find a solution. What steps has the government of India taken to ensure that the prices of tomato and other commodities become more affordable to the very citizen of India?
We acknowledge the hardships faced by our citizens, and we are working on multiple fronts. Firstly, we are investing on modernizing agriculture practice to increase tomato production. Secondly, we are exploring options to strengthen supply chain and reduce wastage. Lastly, we're open to bipartisan efforts to address this issue collectively. We believe in collaborative approach rather than playing the blame game.
Honorable members, any question to add upon?
Madam Speaker, a serious breach of privilege has been committed by leading of newspaper of Delhi. While commenting on the recommendation of Public Accounts Committee, the paper has attributed dishonest motive, and I request you to allow me to raise a question on that matter now.
Shri Povan Kumaran, have you given any notice of it earlier? You may give due notice of it along with a copy of newspaper cutting, and I shall consider it. You cannot spring a surprise on me like this.
I have already given a notice on it at 10 a.m. today.
Then it will be examined by me and let you know my decision. You may please sit down. Now, question number 103, Shri Harshan.
Madam Speaker, will the Minister of Home Affairs be pleased to state the number of suicides committed in the country during each year of last 5 years? If so, the state-wise details thereof. Whether any study report has been received by the government on the high rate of suicide in the country. If so, the state-wise details thereof. And can you say its details of steps taken by the government to prevent incidents of suicide in the country?
of Home Affairs.
Ms. Speaker, National Crime Records Bureau compiles and publishes data in its publication Accidental Deaths and Suicides in India. Honorable Speaker, to your notice that the published reports are available till the year 2021 in its website. As per National Crime Records Bureau data, state or union territory wise, number of suicides committed by the people in the country during 2017 to 2021 is given at annexure. As per the findings of National Mental Health Survey 2015 to 16, an individual's rate of committing suicide was observed to be 0.9% high risk and 0.7% moderate risk. It was highest in the 40 to 49 year age group and greatest among females and those from urban metros. The report is available in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. In order to address the burden of mental disorders, the Government of India is supporting implementation of District Mental Health Program under National Mental Health Program in 716 districts of the country, for which support is provided to states or union territories through National Health Mission. Facilities made available under District Mental Health Program at community health centers and primary health center levels inter alia include outpatient services, assessments, counseling or psychosocial interventions, and continuing care and support to persons with severe mental disorders, drugs, outreach services, ambulance services, etc. In addition to the above mentioned services, there is a provision for 10-bedded inpatient services made available at all district levels. The objectives of District Mental Health Program are: first, to provide suicide prevention services, workplace stress management, life skill training, and counseling in schools and colleges. Second, to provide mental services like prevention, promotion, and long-term continuing care at all district levels. Third, to augment institutional capacity in terms of infrastructure, equipment, and human resource for mental health care. To create awareness and participation for delivery of mental health care system. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has also formulated country's first national suicide prevention strategy. This strategy is available in the website of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Thank you.
Honorable members, any questions to add upon? Now, papers to be laid. Honorable Minister of Steel and Mines, Shri Tarun.
Madam, with your permission, I would like to lay down the following. First, review by the government of the working of the Steel Authority of India Limited for the year 2021 to 22. Second, annual report of the Steel Authority of India Limited for the year 2021 to 2022, along with audited account, commands of Comptroller and Auditor General thereon. Third, Memorandum of Understanding between Steel Authority of India Limited and Ministry of Steel for the year 2022 to 2023.
To lay a copy of paper related to the reports of the following. Firstly, identification of the industrial sector promising for the commercialization of solar energy. Secondly, market assessment for the solar water heating in Himalayan region. Finally, Delhi International Renewable Energy Conference.
Honorable Minister of Human Resource Development, Shri Vasantarupan.
Madam, with your permission, I would like to lay down the reports. Report on working group of subcommittees of National Development Council, report on integrated nutrients, report on machine technology, oil seeds and pulses.
Secretary to report message from Upper Chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I have to report the following message received from the Secretary of the Upper Chamber of the Youth Parliament. is that the Bill for Regulation of Sports Bodies 2015, which was passed by the government in the last session, has been rectified and it is ready to be sent for the President's approval.
Secretary to lay a copy of bill as passed from the upper chamber of Youth Parliament.
Madam, I lay on the table of the House a copy of the Bill for Regulation of Sports Bodies 2015.
Honorable members, I have to make an announcement. On my own behalf of the honorable members of the House, I extend my warm welcome to His Excellency Mr. Ven Jacobsen, the Speaker of Danish Parliament. And the honorable members of the Danish parliamentary delegation who are on a visit to India as our honored guest. The other honored guests are Mr. James Nutt as Deputy Speaker and Mr. Paulson, also a Deputy Speaker. It's a very high-powered delegation. The delegation arrived on 10 September 2023 Sunday, who are seated in the special box. We wish them a fruitful and happy stay in our country. And I extend my warm greetings and gratitude through them to Her Majesty the Queen of Denmark, the Parliament, the government, and all friendly people of Denmark. Now, let's take up the calling attention motion. Shri Sriram, please call the attention of the Minister, please.
Madam Speaker, I would like to call the attention of the Prime Minister on the issue arising out of brain drain.
Yes, Mr. Minister, please.
As we all know, America is importing oil from Saudi, cars from Japan, and what are they importing from India? People, they're really smart intellectuals of the country. Since 2016, 6 lakh Indians, huge number, right? 6 lakh Indians gave up their citizenships. And also, India ranks number 1. What for? For the migration of rich and educated. For years, we are seeing and listening that our people get educated from our reputed universities and migrate to overseas in search of standard of living and livelihood which the government failed to offer them. And we keep listening the word brain drain, brain drain. Thus the government policies failed to afford an environment that encourages innovation and entrepreneurship. This is absolutely a detrimental to the nation's development, so-called India's development. Is the ruling party least aware about the growing issue? What's the answer of the ruling to the nation?
Prime Minister to answer the question of opposition leader.
Honored Speaker and the Member of the Parliament, Namaste. I appreciate your concern and question regarding brain drain in India. And it's really a complex issue and it has a far-reaching consequences. First and foremost, brain drain occurs when talented individuals seek opportunities in abroad. This is due to various factors such as high salary, 2, due to nice living condition, and 3, better opportunities. And to my brother of the leader of opposition, do you think brain drain occurs only in India? Absolutely not. It's a problem of the globe. But still, I'm here to mitigate the issue of brain drain in India. We are focusing on several steps which would eradicate brain drain from our country. Number 1, creating a conducive environment. We're working to build better business and research environment in India so that the Indians reside in our country and would work for the development of Indian economy. 2, we have investment in education. We have increased the investment in education and research infrastructures so that our institutions are the world class and could compete in the world forums. 3, we are promoting entrepreneurship. Like we are supporting the initiatives that encourages entrepreneurships and startups, which would promote opportunities for our Indians to start business and to grow in India. 4, we are having collaboration and partnership with other nations so that we would have a good mutual exchange of knowledge and our citizens have good opportunities and prospect in our own nation. 5th, dual citizenship and overseas Indians. We are working on and we are researching more about options like dual citizenship, which is very good, where we could have a strong tie with the Indian diasporas so that they would contribute to the Indian economy even while residing in abroad. And I understand the concern raised by the opposition leader. I assure you that we are actively and effectively addressing the issue of brain drain in India. And to my brother of leader of opposition, the point to be noted is India, no, in your language, the so-called India is the 5th largest economy under all governments. Thank you.
Minister of Science and Technology.
Honorable Speaker and members, several measures have been taken to reduce brain drain from the scientific community. The extramural funding schemes of Department of Science and Technology and Department of Biotechnology and fellowship schemes of DST, DBT and Council of Scientific and Industrial Research have been designed to encourage scientists to do quality research in our country. Several schemes and programs for building research infrastructures for enhancing research capabilities, such as Fund for Improvement of S&T Infrastructure in Universities and Higher Educational Institutions, FIST, have been instituted.
Srimati Srivarshini.
Honorable Speaker, because of our Indian education system, 80% of Indians are engineers in Indians are unemployable in India. There is only one doctor for every Indian citizen, whereas in America there is one Indian doctor for every 1,325 Americans. There is one famous saying, "Padega India, tabhi to batega America." Just by setting up institution, you can't change the fact that Indian education system is failing us.
That's why our government have introduced NEP.
We are all aware about the huge drawbacks that NEP possesses. Then how will this system create a positive impact on brain drain?
Sri Hari, that's a different agenda for this session. When it comes up, we will speak about it. Next, I call upon Minister of External Affairs to answer the question.
Yes, Madam Speaker and Member of Parliament. Eradicating brain drain can have a number of implications, like it can make more difficulties for the developing nations to compete in the global economy and reduce the flow of knowledge and technology from developed to developing countries. And it can lead to conflict. Like what conflict? As skilled workers leave their own countries where they feel alienated from their own government. This is a serious issue which is discussed on almost all the multilateral forums, especially like United Nations. Definitely by working together, we can reduce this. We can reduce the negativities of this particular issue and live in a more equitable economy.
Honorable Speaker, to your notice that Government MP Bindya is violating the protocol of the Parliament.
Srimati Bindya, kindly follow the parliamentary protocols. Next, I would like to call upon Sri Sanjay to call the attention of the Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to call the attention of the Finance Minister on the situation about
the continuous decline in the value of rupee.
Yes, Mr. Minister, please.
There is something unpleasant that came to our notice. Indian traders are buying Russian oil, not just with rupees, but also with the Chinese yuan. Yes, you heard that right. Indian Oil Corporation, which is India's biggest buyer of Russian crude oil, has become the first state refiners to pay some of its Russian purchases in yuan. And at least 2 of India's 3 private refiners are also paying for Russian imports in yuan. My question to the government, is the power of rupee ending?
And members, the global oil trade is traditionally denominated in the US dollars, making it the default currency for oil transaction. In the recent years, there has been a shift towards diversifying payments to reduce the dependence on US dollars. This is due to geopolitical and economic reasons. The yuan is a relatively stable and widely accepted currency. Russia's acceptance of yuan for oil payments could be seen as a way to diversify its own currency reserves. And I'll tell to the opposition that this is not only specific to India, but it has a broader trend in the international trade. India's decision to use yuan for purchasing Russian oil is to maintain diplomatic relationship with both Russia and China, who have close ties. The opposition need to understand that the payment methods in oil trade are often determined by the agreements between countries and market forces, not rather than the specific preference of a single nation. It is a decision which is not solely under the control of the finance minister, but it is made in the consideration of India's broader economic and diplomatic interests.
Shri Harshavardhan.
Madam Speaker and the members of the Parliament, followed by the Finance Minister, the growth of Indian Rupee on the global stage is a multi-phase process that involves economic reforms, increase in foreign investments, international trade agreements, and geopolitical considerations. While the Indian Rupees has made significant strides, it will continue to evolve as the Indian economy grows.
Next, Shri Sanjay to call the attention of the Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to call the attention of the Defense Minister on the situation about China occupying Indian border.
Yes, Mr. Minister, please.
Madam Speaker, I rise to raise the issue of the recent border issues with China in Arunachal Pradesh. This is a matter of grave concern for the entire nation, and I'm disappointed that the government is not taking this particular issue seriously. The Chinese have been increasingly aggressive in their actions along the border, and they even tried to rename some of the villages in Arunachal Pradesh. This is a clear attempt to undermine India's sovereignty, and it must be met with a strong response from the government in return. I'm also concerned about the lack of transparency from the government on this particular issue. We have not been given any informations about the number of troops deployed or the steps taken to encounter the Chinese threat. I urge the government to take this particular issue seriously and to provide the nation with a full briefing. We need to know what is being done to protect our borders and our sovereignty.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for raising this important issue, and I assure the House that we are taking the border situation seriously. We have deployed additional troops to the border, and we are engaged in regular talks with the Chinese to resolve this issue peacefully.
I can understand the members' concern about lack of transparency, but I assure that we are sharing all the information what we can with the public. And we are also informing the opposition about the current situation. I assure the House that the government is protecting India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. We will not tolerate any Chinese aggression, and we will take all the steps to defend our borders.
Srimati Anushka.
Madam Speaker, China's new map release is a provocative move that is intended to undermine India's sovereignty. The map shows the entire state of Arunachal Pradesh as part of China, which is the clear violation of India's borders. This is a serious escalation of the border dispute between the two countries, and it could lead to further tensions and conflict. Why is the government remaining silent on this issue? And here, we are holding G20 by spending crores and crores of our people's hard-earned money. The opposition and the people of our country demand to know the outcome of these events.
Sri Susind.
China has put out maps with territories that are not theirs. It's an old habit. Just by putting out maps with parts of India, this doesn't change anything. Our government is very sure and clear. Our government is very sure and clear about what our territories are. And making absurd claims doesn't make our territory theirs.
Next, Srimati Pranashri to call the attention of the Minister.
Madam Speaker, the recent communal clash in Manipur is a matter of grave concern. The government has failed to protect the life and property of the people of Manipur. The violence has displaced thousands of people and caused widespread damage. The government must take immediate steps to restore peace and normality in Manipur. We demand a statement from the government on the issue. We accuse the government for being insensitive to the suffering of people of Manipur.
Manipur MP to answer the question of the opposition.
Madam Speaker, the government has taken all necessary steps to restore peace in Manipur. The security forces have been deployed in the affected areas and the situation is under control. The government is providing relief and rehabilitation to the affected people. Stop politicizing the issue. The opposition is only interested in creating chaos and instability in Manipur.
Honorable Speaker, the government's measures are not enough. Still, the people of Manipur are suffering and the violence continues. The government needs to do more to address the root causes of the conflict, such as poverty and discrimination. There have been allegations of human rights abuse by the security forces. The government needs to investigate these allegations and hold those responsible and accountable.
Srimati Pranita.
Madam Speaker, we are committed to accountability and transparency. We have set up a number of mechanisms to investigate allegations of human rights abuses, and we will take action against anyone found to be responsible. We believe that the best way to resolve the Manipur issue is through dialogues and cooperation. We are open to discussing all the options with the different stakeholders. We are confident that we will find a solution that works for everyone.
Next, Srimati Sonia to call the attention of the Minister.
Madam Speaker, without questions, there are no answers. Without answers, no truth, no progress, no future.
The government has initiated a policy, the one nation, one election, which we feel, being in opposition, we feel that this policy would weaken federalism. India is a union of states, and each state has its own unique political culture and needs. This policy would centralize the power in the hands of the central government, which would undermine the autonomy of the country. The one nation, one election policy would be a great advantage to the larger parties. What about the smaller parties? Smaller parties would find it more difficult to compete in simultaneous elections, as they would not have the same financial resources or the organizational strength as the larger parties. Remember, this could lead to a two-party system. It should be bad for democracy. Hence, we demand a justification from the government.
Madam Speaker, the one nation, one election proposal would save money and resources. Currently, India holds the election every 5 years for the Lok Sabha and every 3 to 5 years for the state assemblies. This means that there are elections happening somewhere in the country every year, which is a drain on the exchequer. This would allow the government to conduct all elections at once, which would save money on things like transportation, security, and printing of ballots. The one nation, one election would reduce the disruption caused by elections. Currently, when elections are held, the government has to put in place a model code of conduct which restricts certain activities, such as the release of government advertisements. This will have a negative impact on businesses and development projects. The one nation, one election would reduce the frequency of these disruptions, which would be beneficial for the economy. The one nation, one election would give voters a greater say in the government. Currently, the voters have to visit the polls multiple times in a few-year period. This can be inconvenient and time-consuming, especially for people who live in rural areas. The one nation, one election would allow the voters to cast their votes for all levels of government at once. This would make it easier for them to participate in the political process.
Now, let's take up the legislative bill.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move for the leave to introduce an amendment of the bill, the Uniform Civil Code of 2020 in India.
The question is that the leave be granted to introduce the bill further for amendment of the Uniform Civil Code Indian Bill 2020. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against, no. I think ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Leave is granted.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I introduce the bill.
Now, the House will take up for consideration of National Education Policy Bill 2020. Minister, please.
Ms. Speaker, the biggest complaint our education system is facing that you do not get a relevant job. Even fetching 90% of marks in your examinations won't get you a decent job in the near future. But ironically, our education system for the past 34 years has been based on marks and various traditional assessments. Ms. Speaker, I beg to move that the bill will provide a more effective education system. The National Education Policy is a significant step towards a more inclusive, innovative, and a globally competitive education system. The National Education Policy is a comprehensive framework that outlines the visions and goals of the education system. It typically covers various aspects including curriculum, pedagogy, teachers training assessment, and infrastructural development. The primary aim of national education policy is to provide a strategic direction towards the development of education. Different countries follow different education systems, and these differ from one country to another based on their objectives and strategies. Some common goals of NEP are as follows. Access to quality education, ensuring that every citizen have the right and access to education, despite their socio-economic background. Curriculum and pedagogy, improving and updating the curriculum and teaching methods to align with the contemporary needs of the society. Teacher training and professional development, conducting teacher training programs and professional and creating opportunities for professional development. Technological integration, incorporating technology into education for the students to adapt to the digital age. Cultural preservation, preserving and promoting the culture and heritage through education. Global competence, preparing the students to be globally competitive and take part in the decision making and problem solving of the country.
Ma'am, I am confident that everybody will welcome this bill without any party affiliation. And with these words, the National Education Policy Bill is taken for consideration. Motion moved that the bill introduced by the Education Minister is taken for consideration. Those who are in favor of this will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, ayes have it, ayes have it. Motion adopted. Srimati Shamika.
According to National Education Policy 2020, one can easily complete his or her diploma degree in 2 years. This might encourage the pupil to leave the course midway. What is the answer of the ruling party?
Srimati Mirtula.
Madam Speaker, this policy helps the students to save time and money by completing their education in a shorter period of time. It also helps and informs the people about the various subjects and career options that can be opted by the students before committing to a 4-year program. It also lets the students to take a break if they need to from their education to meet their needs, such as to work or to take care of their family responsibilities. It also allows the students to transfer their credit to other institutions if they need to and if they decide to change their mindset about education.
Shri Srihari.
The NEP 2020 falls short adequately addressing the training and support needs for the teacher. The lack of clear guidelines in the continuous professional development and incentives may affect the quality of education which is imparted in the classrooms. And I wonder how the government is going to address this issue.
Shri Surya Prakash.
Madam Speaker and members of Parliament, establishing a national professional standard for teachers framework. This framework will set out with the minimum qualification, skill and knowledge that all teachers should have. Providing financial incentives for teachers who take up CPD programs. It helps to encourage teachers to participate in CPD and improve their skills.
Shri Harshavardhanan.
Madam Speaker, the policy emphasizes the importance of standardized examinations and encourages board exam at multiple levels starting from the early years. This could lead to a situation where there is an excessive focus on grades and performance, compromising the overall development of students and the well-being of students. The policy emphasizes the importance of technology in education, but this could pose challenges to the rural areas where there is limited access to the internet.
Minister of Education, Srimati Neha.
I understand your concern about the standardized examination and technological integration. Your concerns are valuable and we will take into account once the NEP is implemented. But with regard to standardized examination, we believe that it is an important tool to assess a student's learning and ensure that it is available to all students to attain their full potential. But we also understand that focus should be given to overall development and well-being of a student. And we also come across the challenges faced in rural areas due to lack of internet. We will provide financial assistance and technological supports to those areas which will enhance technological usage. We believe that NEP is a bold and ambitious plan. We will face any challenges that you raise and implement this NEP in a successful manner.
The question is that the bill introduced for an effective and efficient education system is taken for consideration. Those who are in favor of this motion will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, ayes have it. Motion is adopted.
Madam, I move the bill be passed.
Motion moved that the bill is passed. Those who are in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those who are against it may say no. No. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, ayes have it. Motion is adopted. Now, the House is adjourned to meet again tomorrow at 11 a.m.